Welcome to The Explainer. So if you're dreaming of a career in science in India, maybe in a top research lab or as a university professor, you have definitely heard of one exam that can pretty much make or break those ambitions. So let's dive in and break down exactly what it is and why it matters so much. For thousands and thousands of science graduates every year, the answer isn't a long, complicated list of things they need to do. Nope, it's a single, absolutely crucial exam that can literally define their entire professional future.
And that exam is the CSIR NET. It's run by the National Testing Agency, and you can think of it as the main gatekeeper for anyone who's serious about a high-level science career in the country, whether you see yourself in a lab coat or in a lecture hall.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at what this exam actually is, who can take it, what the test itself is like, what happens after you pass, and then the big one, why this is such a pivotal moment in your career.
So, passing this exam isn't just about getting a piece of paper. Not at all. It's about unlocking a whole range of different career paths. Let's take a look at what those are. Qualifying opens up three really distinct pathways. First, you can get a Junior Research Fellowship, or JRF, which means you get paid to do your PhD. Second, you become eligible for teaching jobs like a lecturer or assistant professor. And third, under a new system, it's also your direct ticket into a PhD program.
And if you're wondering just how big a deal this is, get a load of this number. Over 200,000 people took this exam in just one cycle. That tells you everything you need to know about how competitive and how important this is in India's scientific community.
Okay, so before you even crack a book, there's the first big question, right? Are you even eligible to take the exam? Let's break down exactly what you need.
And this is super important. You've got to know which path you're gunning for right from the start. If you want that JRF to fund your PhD, you have to watch out for a pretty strict age limit. But if teaching is your goal, well, age is not a factor at all.
Okay, let's talk academics. It's pretty straightforward. The usual path is having a master's degree, and you'll need at least 55% if you're in the general category or 50% for reserve categories. But here's something new and interesting. There's now an option for people with a 4-year bachelor's degree, though you'll need a higher score for that one.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, especially with that JRF age limit. For a general category male candidate, the cutoff is 30. But, and this is a big but, there are major relaxations. It's 33 for OBC candidates, and it goes all the way up to 35 for women in all categories and for SC, ST, and PWD candidates. And just to be crystal clear, for the assistant professor role, there is absolutely no age limit.
All right, so you've confirmed you're eligible. Awesome. Now let's get into the main event, the exam itself. It's got a really specific structure that's designed to test you in different ways.
So the exam is split into 3 parts. Part A is all about your general aptitude. Part B is more direct, subject-specific questions. But listen, the real game changer, the part everyone talks about, is Part C. This section is packed with high-value, analytical questions that test how you apply what you know. It's worth the most points, but it also has the biggest penalty if you get something wrong.
And the syllabus? Whoa, it is huge. We're talking 13 different units that cover pretty much the entire world of modern biology, from tiny molecules all the way up to ecosystems and evolution.
And that brings us to a really, really key piece of advice. You're not actually expected to master all 13 units. In fact, most experts say you should focus on mastering about 8 to 10 of them. The goal isn't to know a little about everything, it's to know a lot about the high-impact stuff to crush that all-important Part C.
So, let's say you do it. You clear the exam. What happens next? Well, this is where your career path really starts to take shape.
Well, how long your qualification is good for really depends on what you want to do with it. If you got the JRF, you have a 2-year window to get into a PhD program and activate it. But if you qualified for lectureship, that eligibility is good for life. It's a permanent credential.
And this right here is a huge change, something that makes this exam more critical than ever. Your net score is now the main factor for PhD admissions. If you're a JRF qualifier, you're in Category 1 and often go straight to the interview. For everyone else, your net score makes up a massive 70% of the criteria for getting in, with the interview being the other 30%. It really streamlines the whole process across the country. And let's not forget the money, because it's a big deal. Qualifying for JRF isn't just about a title. It comes with some serious financial backing for your research.
You start with a stipend of 37,000 rupees a month, and that goes up to 42,000 after 2 years when you become a senior research fellow.
Okay, let's pull all this together. Why does this one exam matter so much for your career? Let's recap.
So, when you look at the whole journey, it's really a strategic process. First, you check if you're eligible. Second, you really dig in and understand how the exam is structured. Third, you strategize your prep instead of just studying everything. And fourth, you unlock that future in research or teaching.
So, the big takeaway here is this. The CSIR net is not just another test. It's like a multi-purpose key. It opens the door to a funded PhD. It gives you a lifelong qualification for a teaching job, and it acts as a mark of excellence that's recognized all across the country. All right, so we've demystified the whole thing. The structure, the stakes, the strategy. This exam is so much more than a test. It's a major milestone. So the only real question left is, what's your next step going to be?